Hi, this is Priyanka from Arclight Future. Today, we're going to talk about how building facades influence the microclimate and the environment. Building envelope or building skin. Have you ever questioned what are the impacts of building facade treatment on climate? Do we need designs where buildings can breathe? Let me see what I have. Climate responsive, negative impact on environment, biomimicry, energy consumption, heat island effect, HVAC. With increase in urbanization, we form a concrete jungle around us. The building materials what we choose, are they based on the market trend, market availability like what real estate developers provide us, or what is appropriate for the context of the place? How do we choose? Let us see how far have we come in terms of technology. We cannot have same building materials for every climatic condition. If we look back at our ancestors, for every regional geographical context, the style of architecture, materials and technology used varied. For an example, we can study Kerala traditional houses having sloping roofs and courtyard systems to Rajasthan sandstone construction and evolution of elements such as chalis and chhatris, which were developed contextually. So, when we understand this from our historical background, then why do we use same combination of cement, concrete, steel, glazed windows as a staple across the country? In an ideal situation, the factors that should influence facade treatment are climate, geographical context, and design. When we look at the factors influencing building envelope, first, we need to understand conductive heat gain. Conductive heat gain is the process of heat flow through and within the building systems. The rate at which heat is transferred by conduction through the building material and transfers it into the indoor spaces by convection and radiation process. The energy can be consumed through heat gain from roofing systems, walls, and glass. In this process, the built structure and indoor environment gets heated up, leading to consumption of electrical equipment such as fans and air conditioning systems. This is a vicious circle, because of which it influences the microclimate of the region, leading to negative impact. Now, how do we reduce this heat conductivity? What is most important here is to understand the best orientation of the structure. We are aware the sun movement from east to west brings pleasant light from east in the morning, and whereas harsh sun rays from the west in the noon. This is nothing but understanding the sun path and analyzing which parts of the structure are going to be cooler and which parts are going to be hotter. This also affects on the daylight consumption, depending on whether the indoor spaces are well lit or not. All this together add up to heat gain analysis, by which we understand whether the structure is self-sufficient or adding a negative impact over the environment. Now, what if I say all this can be avoided to a larger extent with the right choice of building materials and design? Maybe we need to think about this. So, how do we combat this? Do we have alternatives? Yes. Some of the alternatives what we have are vertical gardens, also called green walls, the algae cell walls, kinetic architecture, retractable facade systems, to name few. To know more about these alternative methods and understand them deeper, stay tuned for part 2 of this video. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.